What's the one thing that every major country prepares for? Not a global pandemic, that's for sure. I would say every country prepares for war. Reminds me of what John F. Kennedy once said. It is an unfortunate fact that we can secure peace only by preparing for war. And how do countries prepare for war? By buying weapons. In 2020, the global arms market was worth $530 billion. Put together, countries spend $1.8 trillion on defense. Until now, India was a buyer in this market. We bought most of our weapons from outside, rifles, missiles, fighter jets, submarines. Most of it was imported. But now India is making a pivot. It is turning from an arms buyer to an arms maker. The flagship product is this one, the Brahmos missile. Some quick facts about this weapon. Brahmos is a medium-range supersonic cruise missile. It is a joint project between India and Russia. They can be launched, these missiles, from land, ships, submarines and aircraft. Most experts agree it is a precise and lethal weapon. So naturally there are buyers. The Philippines is all set to acquire anti-ship Brahmos missiles from China. The deal is worth around $374 million. We don't know how many of them they're buying or what are the specifications, but reports say an Indian delegation will fly to Manila next week to sign the papers. And this deal is important for two reasons. Number one, it marks the arrival of India, the arms exporter. This is the first ever foreign order for the Brahmos missile. It's a foundation to start from. And reason number two, the buyer is a Chinese rival. The Philippines is building up its defense capability against Chinese aggression. PLA ships are sailing near their waters. In November last year, Chinese ships fired water cannons at a Filipino vessel. So the Philippines wants deterrence against China. And for that, they turn to India, to Indian weapons. It's a welcome sign. In fact, it's a template for the future. You see, the weapons industry is a very complicated marketplace. You have the big players like Russia, America and France. They don't have to buy weapons from anyone. They make themselves. Then you have the obsessive shoppers like Saudi Arabia. They usually buy from old allies like the US. So New Delhi must start with its neighborhood. We're talking about countries like the Maldives, Seychelles, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Indonesia, the Philippines. Reports say the government is already doing all of this. Indian diplomats posted in these countries have been asked to push Indian weapons. And clearly, some of that marketing has worked. Even Vietnam is considering the Brahmos proposal. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh was expected to travel to Vietnam this month, but his Wuhan virus infection has delayed that trip. And it's not just Brahmos, by the way. Southeast Asia is procuring other Indian weapons as well. Vietnam, for instance, has bought 12 fast attack craft under a $100 million credit line. They're also interested in the Akash surface-to-air missiles and advanced light helicopters. So this sounds like India's big market, Southeast Asia. Most of these countries are facing Chinese aggression. PLA jets violate their airspace. PLA ships park in their waters. So China is a nuisance and a threat for them. Plus, some of them have a complicated relationship with the US. Until 2016, the US had an arms embargo on Vietnam, not because of any recent conflict, but because of the 20th century Vietnam War. So this market is primed for India to conquer. And looking at the numbers, that's where things are headed. In 2016-17, India's defense exports were worth 1,521 crore rupees. Last year, they touched 8,434 crores. The government's target is to reach 35,000 crore rupees by 2025. That's around $5 billion. Producing your own weapons has two advantages. A, it's cheaper and safer. And B, you can make money through exports. Like I said, this is a $500 billion industry. There's always space for more players. But to do that, India must keep innovating. Take Brahmos, for instance. Countries are buying it because it is a top weapon. Excellent range, good reliability, and great versatility. You can fire it from jets, from submarines, and from land. The key is to keep it that way, to make Brahmos the go-to missile for buyers. That's the rule of every market. You produce that one champion product, and from there you can conquer the rest of the market. And none of this will happen overnight. We will need more foreign investment, more incentives to produce in India, more support for local manufacturers. But the upside is self-sufficiency. Take the S-400 missile, for instance. India acquired them from Russia, but America is not happy with the deal. Technically, they could even sanction India for that purchase. US officials say that there will be an exemption this time, but one more Russian purchase and things could change. By stepping up local production, India can avoid all of these strategic uncertainties. So Brahmos should be the start. The end game should be conquering the defense market. It won't be easy, but then again, $500 billion markets rarely are.